What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Against the Flow. We are hitting episode 19 today, almost to the 20th episode. Super excited to pump out more episodes for the podcast, keeping it growing, keeping it going. So in today's topic, I want to talk about things you can do during quarantine. Now, I know with the virus going around, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of uncertainty. And, I just want to record this podcast to kind of let everybody know that regardless of your situation, there's still things that you can do to take advantage of it, make use of this time. So when this whole thing is over, you'll come out stronger than you came in. So that's the reason for today's episode, and I just want to get straight into it. So episode 19 of Against the Flow starts now. Alright, so again, today's topic is things you can do during quarantine. So the first thing you can do during quarantine is to learn a new skill or revisit old skills and techniques. And revisiting old skills can be watching tutorials on how to mix, how to make melodies, how to build chords, how to master. Those are always skills that you can brush up on and improve your techniques and help you improve with your production. And also learning new skills too. Learning new skills like Photoshop, editing videos, stuff like that can help you advance your music career, because learning these skills can help you advance in your music career, but in a different aspect. For example, this can help you learn editing your YouTube videos, or edit your TikToks, or edit your Instagram videos. It doesn't really matter what it is. Learning stuff like this can really benefit you in some way. And honestly, learning these skills is kind of essential for being a music producer or being an artist nowadays, because it's all about content. What kind of message are you putting out there? What kind of story are you telling? And you have to get creative with it. Having your music speak for itself could work, but there's a lot of great musicians, producers, and artists out there. So for you to stand out, you have to learn to tell your story, and you tell that through your music and through your content. So revisiting the basics and watching old tutorials helps you sharpen your tools that you already have in the shed. It helps you improve. Learning new skills makes you more valuable and adds some experience under your belt. So moving on to the second thing you can do during quarantine: finishing your tracks and beats and uploading them. We all have tons and tons and tons of unfinished projects, tracks, beats just sitting on our hard drive. And I'm guilty of this too. I have tons of projects that just sitting on my hard drive that's not really doing anything. It's just there collecting virtual dust. But to put into perspective, the way I see every single of these unfinished projects, I see it as a song or a beat that could change your life or even help you advance in your music career. And just to put it into perspective, what if Keo never uploaded his Old Town Road beat to BeatStars? I've heard in interviews that he said that he didn't really like that beat that much, where he just kind of thought it was a throwaway beat. And it became one of, if not the biggest song of the decade. So you never really know what putting out that beat or putting out that song could do to help your music career. And another thing that I like to think about these unfinished projects is that it came from somewhere. It came from a moment you were feeling inspired, or you were feeling a certain way, and it caused you to just make a quick 4-bar loop or 8-bar loop. So my tip would be to just completely deconstruct the entire beat or the entire track, but keep some of the stuff that you do like, whether it be a guitar riff or piano chords or a drum pattern that you put together. Again, you made that beat or that loop because you were feeling some type of way and the inspiration came from somewhere. So deconstruct the beat, keep what you like, and throw away what you don't like, and keep it for later, because who knows, you might reuse that guitar riff or piano chord or that drum pattern to make something really cool in the future. And again, going back to releasing them, you never know what would happen if you don't release it, because when you release a beat or a track, there's two directions it can go. It can do well or it can't, but you won't know how it would do if you never upload them. So it's important that you upload your tracks and your beats. And of course, you don't have to upload everything. I don't upload every single track or every single beat that I finish, but release the ones that you like, the ones that you have confidence, the one that fits your brand or fits your genre or fits the type of music you make. Release them and see what happens. I know from personal experience it happens to me a lot where I think this track is really great and I release it and it didn't do as well as I thought it would be. And on the flip side, I would release a track and it would take off beyond my wild expectations. So you never know. Finish the beat, finish the track, and upload it, because you never know who might hear it and you never know what opportunities can come your way. So the last and final thing I want to touch on this topic of what you can do during your quarantine, learn about the business and marketing side of music. I know a lot of producers and artists, even myself, we neglect the business and the marketing side of music. I used to be a firm believer of just upload great music and the fans and the money and the touring and all this will come naturally. That may be the case back then, but now times has changed where the standard is you have to go that extra mile to make content, tell your story, get your message out there, build a brand, or else you'll get left behind or you'll just be another dreamer or another aspiring starving artist. I know there are times where I feel down about creating content and doing all these extra things and I just want to focus on music, but I've been told and I've heard time and time again that you have to be actively creating content, actively telling your story, and actively pushing out music all at the same time. Not saying that it's impossible because it's been done before, but it's just it requires you to put in that extra work, go that extra mile to make it happen. But learning the business and marketing side is one of the things that I've seen a lot of producers and artists lack. Even myself, I'm not saying I'm a marketing expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that's one of the things that I've noticed because I was in that same position. Now, I'm not to the point where I'm an expert because I'm still learning every single day. I'm still working on posting consistent content. I'm still working on myself. It's just something I learned from experience and something that I've noticed. So step up on your knowledge about the music business and marketing. Learn what a royalty is. Learn different streams of revenue that you can make with your music. Touring, merch, sample packs, drum kits, whatever it is, learn how to utilize this information to your advantage. What does a manager do? What does a touring manager do? Learn all these things so then when you get to that level, you're well aware of what's going on and you have the right tools and knowledge to help you navigate through the industry. On to the marketing side, branding your music. Learn how to pitch to playlist curators on Spotify and influencers to use your music. Learning these skills can help you push your music in front of your target audience. Something that Curtis King said really stuck out to me. He stated that marketing is very confusing and there's a lot of gray areas. And the term can get tossed around and get confused a lot. But marketing in the simplest terms is putting your product or your service in front of those who want or need to hear it the most. In this case, it would be our music, our content. Putting our content and our music in front of those who needs or wants to hear it the most. A perfect example of this would be pitching your music to playlist curators on Spotify with the same genre of music that you make. Just by doing this, you learn a few things. You learn how to pitch yourself, how to sell yourself. You learn your niche. You study your niche and you find out where can my music go to gain the most exposure, the most fans. And if you keep doing that long enough, you'll get exposed to new audiences, you'll build a following, and you'll get to where you want to be. So learning the business side and marketing yourself can really help you advance in your music career, whether you're a producer, artist, singer, songwriter, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Learning these skills can really help you advance to the next level. So just to recap some of the things that I've mentioned in this episode, things you can do during quarantine. So the first thing I mentioned early in this episode was relearning old skills, brushing up on some of your old techniques and some of your skills, revisiting the basics and also learning new skills and techniques. Number 2, finishing your tracks and beats and uploading them. You'll never know what kind of opportunities can come your way if you don't upload that beat or that track. There's an infinite amount of opportunities out there for you, but you'll never get a chance to see those opportunities unless you upload your beats and your tracks. Third and final thing I mentioned was learn the business and marketing side of music. Learning the business and marketing side can equip you with the right knowledge and tools to help you navigate through the industry. So when you're presented a scenario or you run into a problem, you know how to navigate through it, or at least you know what to expect. So these are the three things that you can do during quarantine. And honestly, all of these things that I've mentioned can help your music production or music career in some way, shape, or form. I know because this is all from personal experience, mistakes that I've learned from, and also this is stuff that I'm learning myself every day. I would catch myself going back to old tutorials that I watched before. I would catch myself going back to my old beats, my old tracks on my hard drive, deconstructing them, taking something I like and making it completely different from the original idea that I started with, and making something great out of it. And of course, learning the business and marketing side. I don't think you can ever stop learning the business and marketing side because there's just so much to know. Even once you have it figured out, I feel like it's constantly changing, just like we've seen with the virus, how it completely changed the entire entertainment industry within months. So it's not going to hurt you to push yourself to continue to learn the business and marketing side of music. So those are the three things you can do during quarantine that can really help you advance in your music career. Now, of course, there's so many other things that you can do, but I just kind of wanted to narrow it down to three and just break it down in detail and in depth, just to give you in-depth value of what you should do to help you if you decide to do these things. But that is the end of today's podcast episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found some inspiration, and make sure you leave a rating and review, and also give it 5 stars so I know that this podcast is doing well and you're enjoying my content. And quick tip, if you leave a review, I'll give you a shout out. So make sure you do that. And also make sure you follow me on my socials on Instagram and Twitter at Yenoh Sounds. I post inspirational, motivational, educational, and fun content on there. So make sure you go ahead and follow me if you're interested in that content. But again, thank you for listening and hope you have a great rest of your day.